She was like, I got a question for you. Do this YouTube for me. So shout out to my nanny if you're watching. This YouTube video is for you. How do you maintain that routine? Like, how do you maintain consistency? If you're curious as well, you're in luck because I'm gonna answer it right now. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things, but I wouldn't be able to do all the things if I weren't consistent. And so that is something that I talk a lot about on this channel. I have quite a few videos on how to find a routine that works for you, how to stay consistent, how to be self-disciplined, how to be a consistent person. That's actually how I got my start in life coaching. I was actually really focused in the beginning on self-discipline. I had a self-discipline training that blew up. It was called No Excuses Woman. I've actually rebooted that training to encompass more than self-discipline. It's self-discipline, but also goal setting and just the mindset that you need to have in order to achieve. So if you want to know more about the current rendition of that program, you can click the link below to learn more about it. But I got the idea to do this topic around how to maintain a routine actually from my nanny. So she saw me being consistent and, outlining all of my content. As you know, or you might not know, I talk about it elsewhere in other videos on this channel, but I batch record my content. Usually once a month, I will record all of my podcasts in advance and all of my YouTube videos in advance. And so she saw me, focused on that and really thinking through content. And I've been very consistent about this. In fact, I've been posting daily on this here YouTube channel for months now, almost a year. I gotta look to see how long it's been. I don't know if it's a year yet, but it's almost a year. And I've been posting at least once a week since 2020, right? So I've been very consistent on YouTube. And there's things that she's trying to be more consistent at, whether it's working out or eating healthy or juicing or whatever. And she was like, I got a question for you. Do this YouTube for me. So shout out to my nanny if you're watching. This YouTube video is for you. But her question was, how do you maintain that routine? Like, how do you maintain consistency? Once you've decided that this is what you need to do, you've created the routine and you start doing it, most of us fall off after time. What is the mindset that you need to have in order to be consistent with your consistency, right? Is that a thing? So if you're curious as well, you're in luck because I'm gonna answer it right now. All right, the big thing that really helps me maintain my routine, even after I've created it, I'm less likely to fall off. And by the way, this is not to say that I'm like 100% perfect. There are times where I will have a routine and I will get off routine, but I'm usually very quick to get back on track and I maintain that routine going forward. But part of how I'm able to maintain that routine is because I know my why. I am so clear on my why. Like, I am a nerd. I have a whole spreadsheet tracker thing where I keep track of all the goals that I am working towards. And I know what I need to do ultimately to hit that goal. So if I have a really big, broad goal, I talk a lot about one of my goals, which is to be tri-continental. I want to have homes all over the world and, be able to show that to my children so that they can grow up in kind of a global lifestyle and see that the world is big, but it's small, and that, many of us are more alike than we are different. And so I just want them to have that global experience, right? So that is a big dream of mine, and I call it a dream versus a goal. And in fact, I talk about how to set goals as a millionaire and how I, differentiate between dreams and goals in this video right here that you can check out. But I call it a dream and not a goal because it doesn't have a set deadline. So a dream is just something that ultimately you want to accomplish in your lifetime. Like, one day you would like to be able to do that. And so I have this unique process that I talk about in that previous video where I back out my dreams into goals and then my goals into projects and then my projects into tasks. And so oftentimes there are tasks or things that I need to do on a consistent basis in order for that big broad dream to even be a reality. And so part of why I'm able to stay so consistent is because I know what that dream is and I know what my why is. So even something as simple as consistently recording on YouTube and, publishing every single week or every single day for months and years at a time. I don't look at this task as, oh, I gotta sit here and, make YouTube videos. I'm tired. I wanna go eat because I actually haven't had lunch. As I'm recording this, I haven't had lunch yet, so I'm hungry. I would like to go eat lunch, but I'm banging out these YouTube videos. Instead of just saying, oh, I'm making these YouTube videos, woe is me. I don't say that to myself. I say, I am getting myself that much closer to my dream of living a tri-continental lifestyle. So I know my why and I make it in my mind so that anything that I'm doing, any task that I'm doing, anything that I need to be consistent on, I see it as that broader dream. I don't see it as this annoying task that I have to get through, and that helps me stay consistent. All right, the next thing that I do that really helps me stay consistent, which is somewhat connected to the previous point about knowing your why, is I also know the downstream dominoes, meaning I know the downstream effect of a particular task. I know, just like in dominoes, you knock one domino down, all the other dominoes tumble. I know for each of the tasks that I'm working on that I'm trying to be consistent with, I know what doors it's gonna open or what other things it's going to help me achieve, or kind of like, what is it going to help me unlock? So going back to this example, even me recording these YouTube videos, yes, I know it is connected to my broader big dream of, oh, I want to be tri-continental, or I want to grow my business or whatever, but I also know what gets affected both positively and negatively, right? What are those downstream dominoes if I don't show up and do my videos? I do these videos in part because I repurpose a lot of content. So a lot of the content that I do here on my YouTube channel also gets repurposed into content that goes on my Instagram, content that goes on my email newsletter. Sometimes we get ideas about new content, podcast ideas. We get ideas about paid products that we can create. Like a lot of the people who are applying to my program come from my YouTube channel. So I understand all of the downstream effects that would happen if I weren't consistent with showing up consistently here on YouTube. And so because I'm very clear on that, I am more motivated to do it, because it's not just, oh, I'm tired, or I don't want to do these videos, or, you know, I want to go to lunch. As I mentioned, I'm having eaten lunch, recording all of these videos. It's not, oh, I just don't want to do it. It's, if I don't do it, am I prepared to have less people applying to my program? Am I prepared to have virtually no content available to go out on Instagram? Am I prepared not to have ideas about new paid programs that I could be creating? Am I prepared for all of these downstream effects, all of these downstream dominoes that are not going to get knocked over if I don't do this task? So yes, I'm clear on my why, but I'm also clear on those dominoes, the downstream effects that come from me doing my task consistently. All right, the next thing that I do that helps me maintain my routine and maintain consistency is I celebrate the small wins. I think sometimes we get off track, or it's easier to give up on our routine because we're waiting for the big payoff, right? So again, using this example of me having this dream of being tri-continental and this little small task of recording YouTube videos consistently, you know, those two are connected. If I said, well, I'm not gonna celebrate me recording YouTube videos consistently until, you know, I purchase my first property abroad, I might be waiting a long time. It might take me years in order to make that dream become a reality. And so it's only human nature for you to get tired, for you to get demotivated. And so I find that celebrating those small successes along the way really helps you stay consistent and stay on your routine. So yes, I batch record all of my content. Yeah, it takes a lot out of me. Oftentimes I skip lunch in order to get all of the videos done. But when I'm done, I celebrate, right? So tomorrow I'm gonna be celebrating with my infamous CEO lunch. So I talk about this a lot on my Instagram. Hopefully you're following me on Instagram. It's CourtneyLSanders. But on my stories, I will often showcase, you know, some high-end restaurant that I am taking myself out to celebrate all the work that I completed for the week. And, you know, it's just a time for me to kind of woosah and relax, have a glass of wine, be by myself, right? I turn my Slack off and my text off, and, you know, I'm not getting pinged from my team or even my husband or, you know, all these people who want different things from me. And I can just kind of reconnect with myself and celebrate all the progress that I have made from that week and reward myself with a really great steak, right? And some dessert and a glass of wine, right? So clearly I'm getting excited about it, thinking about it. So I do little small things like that to reward myself. Sometimes it's a very nice meal. Maybe it's a massage, maybe it's a staycation, whatever it is, I'm giving myself these little small rewards for staying consistent on my routine, and then it helps me stay more motivated to stick with it. All right, I have more where that came from, but first I want to hear from you. What's a routine that you're working on maintaining? Share in the comments below. All right, the next thing that I do to stay consistent with my routine, and this is also connected to the previous step, is that I plan for the big rewards. Like, I know what the big reward is going to be ahead of time, right? So I know, again, going back to my example of I want to be tri-continental, I want to purchase a property abroad. Part of how I do that is growing my business and being able to get the visibility and revenue in my business. And part of how I do that is by showing up consistently on social media. And part of how I do that is showing up consistently on these YouTube videos and yada, 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 whatever, right? So yes, there's the small rewards that I give myself, like, oh, I'm going to take myself out for a nice dinner if I, you know, was consistent with my YouTube videos this week, or I'm going to give myself, you know, go to a massage or whatever, you know, buy a handbag that I'm looking at. That's fine for those small rewards, but I also have in mind a big reward that I'm really excited about. So there's actually quite a few things that I want to do. Like, there's some investments that I want to set up. There is a property that I want to buy abroad. There's like some things that I'm trying to hit in my business, some people I want to hire. Like, there's some major things things that I want to accomplish, I told myself if I make those things happen, there's a particular car that I'm gonna buy. And I won't say what it is, but there's a car that I have my eye on that I really wanna get, and that is gonna be my reward car. So I'm not gonna allow myself to buy this car until I have all these other things achieved. And obviously I can't achieve all those other things unless I'm really consistent with my day-to-day tasks. So that is how I stay motivated and how I maintain my routine. Yes, I give myself small rewards, but I also choose a big reward from the outset, and I commit to it, and I say, you can have this big reward when you accomplish all these things, and you can accomplish all these things when you are consistent. All right, the next thing that I do in order to maintain my routine, and this is gonna sound simple, but I think it's actually the most powerful out of all of these steps, is I face reality, right? And by facing reality, I mean, I understand that, tomorrow is not promised and that I don't necessarily have all the time in the world. Now, I'm hoping that I'm gonna be a super, super old great grandma and I'll live to 100, but I don't know how many days I have left. So I stay very consistent so that I can take advantage of everything that I have available to me right now. And if that's a little morbid, I know, we never wanna think about how many days I have left and, we're gonna live forever. So, okay, fine. We're gonna live forever, right? Not really. Hopefully, you know that that's not the case, but I hope you and I both live to a very, very ripe old age, right? God willing. But even if you don't want to think about your own mortality, even if that's a little morbid for you, I am aware of reality in the sense that the opportunities that are available to me right now, I don't even know that they're going to be available forever. So sure, maybe I expect to live a very long life, but I can't say that, the internet is going to be what it is. Like, we take so many things for granted, even the idea that the internet is free, right? And that you can just, come on here and post your videos on YouTube for free, and that, it doesn't take a lot out of you. And of course, I'm using, this example of posting on YouTube because that is something that I'm very consistent with. But whatever it is that you want to be more consistent with that you haven't been consistent with, maybe think about what you are taking for granted. Maybe you want to be more consistent with juicing, but you're taking it for granted that you're going to have access to, fresh fruits and vegetables. Maybe you're on Instacart and you order your groceries, or you go down to the local Whole Foods. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe the economy goes crazy, or even during the pandemic, there was all these supply chain hangups, and stuff was flying off the shelves and the grocery stores were empty. Like, you take it for granted that you will always have the opportunity to do the very things that you want to be consistent on. So I just make sure that I face reality, whether it's morbidly in terms of mortality or even just in terms of the opportunities that I have available. And that gives me a sense of urgency and internal motivation to maintain my routines and to stay consistent, because I don't know how long I'm gonna have these opportunities. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to stick to your routine, get your self-discipline together, and ultimately achieve your dreams, I invite you to check out the rebooted version of my brand new program, No Excuses Woman. So again, this is a self-discipline program that I created way back in 2015 that put me on the map, and I've since redone it. I've worked with instructional designers. It's amazing. It's reshot. It looks great. Like, it's gonna help you not only be more self-disciplined, but achieve your goals. So if you wanna learn more about that program, you can click the link below. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. If you loved it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you can't wait for my next video, make sure you are subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show, on both iTunes and Spotify. And if you can't wait for my next podcast episode or my next YouTube video, make sure you are following me on Instagram, CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. You can check out some of my famous CEO lunches. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.